All right, what's good, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Just wanted to give it a couple seconds, let everybody else join onto the call. But what's good, everybody? Hopefully everybody had a great, or is having a great morning, and is having an amazing week as well. Obviously, I just wanted to jump onto the charts with you guys, identify any charts, any potential trade setups, answer any and all questions that you guys may have as well. Again, what we like to do here is really educate and really show you what's needed to become profitable as an individual trader. So I really want to make sure that I'm impacting and helping as many people as I possibly can in a positive way. So if there's any questions that you guys may have, if there's anything that you may need, feel free to let me know. But what's good, everybody? Again, good morning, good morning, good morning. Everybody's starting to pour in right now. That's beautiful. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let me make sure you guys can hear me. Okay, you guys definitely can. Put my phone on the charger because it's about to die. I never charge my stuff. It's the weirdest thing. All right, let me go ahead and do that. Perfect. Okay. So obviously I want to jump onto the charts and see if there's anything we can learn about, speak on, so that way you guys get knowledge. Obviously look for trades because these trades will be placed into our auto trader and sent out signals for my students and also for you guys. As you guys can see, yesterday I did put out that great trade on GJ for you all to take advantage of. So obviously I'm making sure that I'm not just looking out for students, I'm looking out for every single person. So if you were able to make money on that, beautiful, great job. We got a bunch of people on right now. Let me go to the chat just in case. I thought I was in the chat. There we go. Good morning, LA. I see LA in here. Who else is in here? What's good, everybody? Good morning, good morning, good morning. So Scott, yeah, GJ was good. Scott, the GJ trade that we placed yesterday was amazing. So we'll go over that a little bit later. Well, there is no technical standpoint on that, so there's really no reason to get into that. I was able to place that trade and find our entry with this my little strategy here. I know this isn't GJ, but there was no technical analysis on that trade, to be completely honest. There was a little bit, I believe, but it was mainly because of the strategy here on why we placed that trade on GJ yesterday. Euro JPY passed the first resistance zone. I predict is going all the way down. If you believe so, first residence zone. Okay. Yeah, if you think it's going to continue to go down, that's beautiful. Obviously, I'm going to take a look at a bunch of stuff today, but if you believe something in a chart, if you think it's going to continue to sell, believe it, continue. You know what I mean? It's really important that you believe in your own analysis and you build that psychology with everything that you do. It's really important that you do that. But again, let's see what we have. Good morning, everybody. My man, Dr. Sean Carter. I got you. Oh, wait, is that? Let me see real quick because I don't want to say my man, Dr. Sean Carter, and you're not a man. I got to be careful with that because I did that before and somebody yelled at me. But for Dr. Sean Carter, I appreciate you for being on. Again, I want to be correct with everything. I got yelled at for somebody. I said "sir." I didn't even look at who it really was, and it was a whole woman. So I got to be careful with that. Apologize in advance if that ever happens. But what's good? What is good? I appreciate everybody being on. So what I want to do real quick is take a quick look at gold. This market here is I obviously one of my favorite markets, if not my favorite market to trade. And I do want to take a look at this because we're going to get a strong idea coming up pretty soon because I'm starting to see something a little bit different now. If we look left to get right, we kind of are within this PRZ zone. It's kind of spiking up, but we are getting some form of structure within this area, right? I don't like my zones ever that big. I would have liked it to stay right below there, but we're kind of getting some respect around this area. So the structure on gold is getting very, I would say, a lot easier to kind of see what's initially going to happen. So I don't have to be on the daily right now. I could use the smaller time frame, such as, let me get rid of my keyboard really quick because I don't think I need that as of yet. Female, okay, there we go. I figured, I was like, let me make sure that I'm not saying my man's and it's a whole goddess, a queen amongst us. But good morning. I appreciate you for clarifying on that. But with gold real quick, I am starting to see a little bit of a bearish notation, right? I'm starting to see something a little bit different. I'm starting to see that this market is giving us that resistance from that structure that we can see on a higher time frame. Not really the best structure, but what I'm also seeing is that at least on the weekly time frame, it's Wednesday, it's the middle of the week, so we still have a lot of time for this to move around. But this candle doesn't look as bullish, even here on the weekly, as the rest. Right, there's like an odd man now because this looked pretty bullish. This is pretty bullish, really bullish. And now we're not getting that idea. When we scale down to these smaller time frames, because we know that gold's pretty bullish right now. But when we scale down to these smaller time frames, it doesn't necessarily seem as if it has the same momentum. So I'm going to draw this line here, and I'm going to draw another line right up here. Because all I'm doing now is trying to identify whether or not this market is going to create a higher high and a higher low, or start to look for reversals. So this level of current resistance is being respected heavily. And I'm doing this so that way you guys can see, one, how I mark up my charts, and two, where you're supposed to be drawing your initial zones, right? You are welcome, Furu. I appreciate that. So let me see real quick. So we are in this ranging market. Ranging market. So since we're in this ranging market here on gold, I want to see what happens next. Because we're kind of like within a rock and a hard place. It doesn't want to break above, and it doesn't currently want to break below as well. So even though we're in a strong bullish market, I do believe we're hitting some form of structure to make this even happen. So what I want to see is a break above or below this point. So if we get something like this, the market says, you know what, fuck it. I break below, I'm looking for sells. That's what I'll be doing, right? I'll then change my bias from gold on buys, or from buys to now sells, and then look for that retest. But actually, since we're on this, let me see this here. Do we have U.S. news today? We don't. We just have Canadian news. We have some news for the U.S., but I don't think we're going to be heavily affected on that. So all I'm doing right now is, now I'm on the 1 hour time frame, and I want to see exactly if there's a trade opportunity here, and I do believe there is. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go ahead and place a buy on this real quick. Let me just check the smaller time frame real quick. 15. I would want to see if we can get this to push down a little bit more, but I don't believe that's the case. I'm going to go ahead on gold and I'm going to buy it. I mean, the entry is a little bit late, I will admit, because I would have liked to get in as it was down here. I don't believe that we're really going to get that pushback down. So I'm going to go ahead and buy gold. Usually I don't do this. I know I'm like usually just teaching with you guys, but I'm going to go look for a buy on gold. My stop loss is going to be 40 pips. And there's, oh, that's right. Let me add this as well. I did have my trend line here originally here as well, so we can use that as our form of Confluence. I was like, I know there's something else missing there. So right now, I'm being a little risky. I wanted to actually place this trade as it was down here. We kind of missed it a little bit. But let me go. Where's my phone? My phone's right here. So if you guys would like to place that trade, feel free to do so. I mean, you don't have to, but if you would like to, you're good. I'm actually seeing something here as I turn on my MT4, potential buy on GU as well. Let me go buy this really quick for myself. There it is. Trade. Ooh. All right, so I've placed a buy here on gold. Now, I know it's the beginning of the session, which was we just jumped into a trade pretty quickly. I'm just now looking at this, and I do like the criteria. I mean, when I had marked this up originally before you guys were on, because what I like to do is before I jump onto a call with you guys, I like to just delete everything. I don't like to, I like to start fresh so that way I could really teach and educate you guys on why things are happening or why I'm doing specific things. But right now, this is my exact analysis on this. You know what I mean? So this was my previous analysis. I didn't expect it to really reach that low and spike up immediately, but I'm going to go ahead and place my buys there on gold. So if you guys would like to do that, you can. I would say be very careful. You know what I mean? Me personally, I like for a market to develop a little bit more before it actually shows me or before I actually enter. But with that trend line, the structure, the rejection candles, if anybody's wondering where's the fibs, here's a tip. You can't use fibs in a ranging market. In a ranging market. So right now, there is one of my criteria is missing, which is that Fibonacci retracement tool, right? I cannot go from the swing low here to swing high here and get it and expect to get an accurate measurement, right? If you're wondering why, is because you're only using a Fibonacci in a trending market, and this high is higher than this high, which means that it's not really giving you an impulsive move or a strong impulse where it's showing you a trending market whatsoever, right? So you can't use that Fibonacci retracement tool. Excuse me. I'm still battling COVID, so if I cough unexpectedly, I apologize. But yeah, right now, this did actually meet my little my entry criteria as far as that structure, that support, that trend line acting as a dynamic level of support and resistance. Obviously, in this case, support, meaning that it's following the direction of the trend. So right now, if you would like to place buys on gold, feel free to do so. I like the way it looks. That might actually mean that, let me go to GJ really quick, because I do want to think that we should take profits on this. I'll go back to gold here in a second to give you guys the credentials, but I might actually go ahead and take profits on this just so that way you guys don't have more risk, because I know a lot of you guys took that GJ trade in the Discord from yesterday. So just so that way we don't have risk, I want you guys to probably take profits on GJ here in a second. We'll take a look at that in a bit. But yeah, I'll leave the credentials here for you guys. Oh, I got another trade. So the EA that I'll speak on that in a second, actually. That noise you hear in the background is just like me testing these free EAs, but I'll explain that here in a second. But yeah, right now, gold, if you would like, you have a 50 pip stop loss. Our take profit is about 115. So risk to reward looking very good in our favor. So let's see how this works out for us if you guys would like to place that trade as well. I think right now, how many trades have we placed together? Maybe this is probably like our 4th trade together so far. I know we got 2 wins, 1 loss. Hopefully we get a win on this as well. But that's just to start us off here for the session. I know we kind of went through a lot on that. It was just, if there's an entry, if there's money to be made, obviously I need to make money. I got bills. But I also want to make sure that you guys are profiting as well. It's really important that not only do I educate, really show you what's needed to become profitable, but also show you that these things that I'm teaching and educating are working, that they do work in real world conditions, that you guys can implement what you learn here and feel confident that your trade will most likely end up being in profits. And right now, I did place that trade, and it is currently in profits for myself. So if you guys were able to place that trade as well, beautiful. If you guys are in profits, even better. All right, let me go ahead and see if you guys have anything in the comments. If you do, if there's any questions you may have, feel free to let me know. If there's any specific markets you guys want to take a look at after I'm done, I will take a look at those as well, just to get more detailed if I haven't seen it or looked at it for you already. But yeah, gold right now, we're looking for current buys if you guys are looking at this. So good morning, everybody. I know I started off quick, like I just got shot out of cannon, but yeah, this when I see an opportunity, I want to make sure I take it. So let's see if there's anything else that we could take a look at as well. I was looking at Gbpjpy USD sells, but But I might actually, I know I told students to sell this yesterday with our aggressive sells and move everything into break even. So if I'm correct, I believe our break evens may be getting hit, but that's perfectly fine. No lost money. I mean, even the GJ trade alone and a few other trades that kicked in for us should have well along put them way into profits where that break even shouldn't even matter, but no loss, no harm done on this, if you will. But I'm actually starting to see if we're looking at buys on gold, that could mean that GU or all, US cross pairs could be giving us a different idea. Give me 1 second. A student hit me up. Gotta always remind them, like, when they hit me up and they think I'm ignoring them, I'm not. I'll be like, I'm on YouTube, man. I'm doing it live. I'm teaching. But yeah. What I'm looking at is if gold is going to be giving us a buy currently, that means for a small amount of time, we could possibly look for potential weakness in the dollar and start looking for different ideas in some of these markets. And actually, before I do that, okay, I wanted to see if AU is at its retest point because that would have given us a more clear entry, a better, I would say, idea for a trade. Because as far as GU is concerned, there's really not a technical, like a real price actiony way of breaking this down for a buy. I could remark this up. When I had looked at this for the buy on my phone real quick, it was because of this little strategy here. Now, just to kind of like, so you guys don't get too confused, excuse me. The only reason why I'm really looking at this again is because my strategy here, my little moving averages and Bollinger Band stuff, there's something called what you would like to call an extreme or too oversold. That moving average is outside the Bollinger Band, which is not supposed to happen. When it does, you look for I wouldn't say a reversal, but if it was selling before, you start looking for those initial buys. So there's really no technical standpoint on that, but I'll keep my eye out on GU to see if there is an entry on that. I just wanted to take a quick look on that before we continued. But yeah, any questions, anything you guys got, feel free to let me know. I want to make sure that I'm assisting and helping to the best of my abilities. But let me go back to gold real quick. See how we're looking. Still in small profits. If anybody is just joining onto the call, because I see that we had a bunch of people just join on, we are currently in a buy on gold. So this is what it currently looks like. And if you would like to place a trade, feel free to do so. I'm in small profits, but let's see. Small profits could definitely turn into to something big if you hold. So this is where patience comes into play, because I know a lot of people are probably like, but I'm in and out of profits, it's fluctuating. That's how the market works, right? When we reach these specific points, especially our entry points, it's not just going to immediately shoot into profits and give us what we want. I wish. But when you have your analysis and you trust it and you allow the market to truly develop and go where you believe it's going to go, that's where the real money comes in. So if anybody's a little nervous, if it's like fluctuating in and out of profits, you're in small drawdown, it's okay. One, please don't be using huge lot sizes, because we're not going to win every trade. You shouldn't be placing a lot size that if you lose that one trade, your whole account is blown. I've done that in the beginning way too many times. Trust me, it sucks, especially when you build an account to so much from such a small amount. Because I remember I put $50 in, I grew it up to like $6,000, and I thought I was rich. I was like, yo, $6,000, I could turn 6,000 into 30,000 by the end of the month, and then I lost it the next day. So be very careful, guys. Don't be placing huge lot sizes. But let's see. Let me see if there's anything in the chat from you guys. Nope, you guys are looking good. All right. So now that we're done with gold, let's see if there's anything else that we could potentially look at. Let me see USD CAD. Yeah, that's just consolidating and stuff. So some of these markets, as you can see with USD CAD, still very, excuse me, still very choppy, right? These markets aren't really giving us a strong idea. And I was looking for buys from this range, right? Because you can see that we're at this level of structure. This level of structure is something important, because what can happen at a level of structure? A potential entry, right? I don't want anybody getting confused. Support and resistance is not just some basic, knowledge and that's it. No, you use these points of reference, these ideas, to place an initial entry, or at least get an idea of where the next move is going to be made from. Are you in that gold trade, bro? Sorry, just joined. Yes, I'm in that gold trade. So I can see that I'm at this level of current support, right? So being at this level of current support, I want to see if there's any potential buys. But with a market like this and how choppy it is, I can't really look at this anymore. So if anybody's looking at, the only thing I can see honestly. And you do get an idea of that when you are in a strong trend. And we can see USD CAD currently is in a very strong bearish market, at least on the 4-hour and the current daily time frame. The only thing I would be able to see is that there is a head and shoulders pattern here. So the only thing I would really wait for on this is an actual break below that point to break the neckline and continue to push down much lower. And again, I'm just marking up stuff because nobody got questions and stuff, so I'm just giving you guys value. But if you guys are confused on anything and need me to illustrate or go over something in detail and specific, let me know. But yeah, right now the only thing I would see on USD CAD is that head and shoulders pattern, and in this case, it wouldn't be considered a reversal pattern. It will be considered a continuation pattern because obviously it's continuing in the direction of the current market. So if I'm looking at anything, I would want to see that inverted, or I keep saying inverted, I would want to see that head and shoulders pattern actually fruition. So if we get a break of this neckline, we'll go ahead and look for sell. So let me actually go ahead, write that down. So that way, even in the future, I know what I'm looking at when I jump onto this. So let's do this. If neckline is broken, we look for strong sells. Very simple. It'll look something like this. Now, obviously, you're not going to place your entry on the 4-hour and the 2-hour, but I'm just doing the analysis on here and showing you the direction. So we get a break below, right? We're creating a new low point. We're showing that the market is continuing to be bearish. We wait for that initial retest. Now, excuse me, if anybody's like, oh, why don't you just trade the breakout? Or if you think it's going to reach or break that low, why don't you just sell now? Because we have no confirmations if this low is actually going to be broken. This support could definitely be respected and buys can start to happen. You know what I mean? So you want to allow the market to develop, really show you what's happening before you get in, right? So if I can see something like that, then even if we can get price to potentially move back up into this range, that would be great, right? Because this is this is resistance, and it's also the price of that left shoulder in a sense, right? Even if it came back all the way up here, that would be great because that's the actual left shoulder height. But this right here is great. So I'll keep my eye out on USD CAD, see if there's any potential trades for us on this as well, and then go from there. So what I want to see is something like that. But I doubt it. I think USD CAD is way too stuck. Doesn't have the volatility to even break above its new like minor range. If anything, that could be the median. So in a ranging market, what you do get, and I'll kind of like draw it like this so it's a little bit better. It's kind of like when we went to math class, if anybody ever went to class. I never did. But if you went to class, you had mode, mean, and whatever. Like the most median, I forgot what it even is. That's how bad I am at school, or was at school. But there's that median point, that middle point, right? So if you have a range, you get that high and the low, but sometimes you get stuck in between, right? And then you could break lower. So there is like some structure in between a ranging market, and then you kind of get that push back up. That's kind of like what we're looking at here in our little range. It actually looks exactly like how we drew it out too. But that's exactly what I'm looking at here. There's a minor level of structure even in between this range. So even if we can get well, we already did respect that point, but if it could come back up maybe here, then I'd look for something. But I just realized now that it is 8 o'clock and I see Forex Factory up here, we have Canadian news later today. So that might be the volatility needed to drive our market in the direction we are assuming. So that's the reason for the choppiness on that. My man Jerome said head and shoulders. Yes, exactly. I know there's a delay too, and I didn't look at the chat, but you're absolutely correct. That head and shoulders pattern is something that could give us a strong idea for continued sells, right? Again, that break of the neckline is going to confirm that sellers are still taking over. Anytime you have a break of a structure, a trend line, or whatever market pattern is available, you're going to get a strong move, and it confirms your original idea. So again, if that neckline is broken, these sells will continue. So let me go ahead and see if there's anything else. It does seem, let me check the DXY actually. So the DXY is the dollar index. It gives you the overview and insights of the US dollar, the currency of it. And as you can see here, we're very much in a strong downtrend. So that gives me a strong belief that, you know, the dollar will continue to be bearish. So those buys on gold will probably be looking really good sometime soon. And let me see this real quick. So what I'm looking at right now is, again, just to see if we're getting any correlation. But yeah, that looks really good actually. So yeah, continued sells on the dollar actually. So what I'm looking at right now is, obviously I'm going in the direction of the trend. 50% of my work here is done, right? Because I know that if the market's going to continue to go anywhere, it's going to continue to sell. It's not going to be bullish out of nowhere. So we have our connective points. Let me go back to the chat really quick. I got kicked out of my own chat. There we go. So I can see that one connection, 2, 3, 4, even 5, and now look at that, even 6. So we have multiple touches of this trend line. The theory is that after 3 touches of a trend line, the trend line gets weaker, and the 4th touch, it breaks. That obviously could be seen that that's not true. So we can get rid of that, that little theory. I always say the more touches of a trend line or structure, it doesn't necessarily mean it gets weaker, because it's been respected that many times. Why is it going to break that one other time? Obviously, there are times where it will be broken, but chances are, the probabilities is it's going to continue to respect it. So right now with the DXY even respecting our current trend line, and actually, let me see if I do this on the 2 hour, make it a little bit, oh, that doesn't even look great on the 2 hour. So what I was looking at was this potential counter trend line here, because you can see the break of the trend line, the retest of it. But when we scale down to a small time frame, you can see that's just a break, like a really significant break. So it looks a little choppy, it looks a little confusing. On the 4 hour, that looks great, but on the smaller time frame, not so much. So I'll get rid of that really quick. But again, if we're looking at the DXY, the dollar index, even this choppiness is giving us another, guess what, head and shoulders pattern. This pattern comes about within the market so much that it's so weird how people miss them, don't take them into consideration, because they leave such a huge clue of what's going to happen. So with this analysis, I do think that with the dollar, the US dollar, it's going to continue to be bearish actually. On your trend lines and support and resistance, do you go where the wick went or where the candle closed? Hope this makes sense. If you're drawing your trend line from where the candle closed, you're already answering your own question. You're wrong. So that only leaves one other answer, right? You can't just say, I'm going to base my trade off of the close of the candle, right, for a trend line. So let me see if I just remove that real quick. So if you're drawing your trend line and you're doing it off the candle, you're already wrong, right? Because the wick is still very much where price has been. And if you don't measure it from that accurate price, your trend line will be inaccurate and you're not going to get the right measurement and connections of your trades, right? Because what I'm doing here, I connected the wicks together, even though that looks like a break above. When we go to the 4 hour, what is it? It's a wick. You can't go with a trend line and break through the body of candles, but you could break through the wicks. Why? Because wicks equal rejection, and we need those in our analysis to get some clues. But when we scale down to the 2 hours, still very much a wick, and you could break through that. When you do it on the 1 hour, it looks like a break, but it's not. Your trend line's accurate. If we did this from the body of the candles and we try measuring it, you see how off that is? This right here is a missed opportunity and a missed entry, because you're measuring it from the body of the candle. Oh, I'm not measuring the wick, I'm getting the body. Oh, I'm not measuring the wick, I'm going to just keep it like that. Now your entire shit's off, and that's a missed opportunity, because if you're like, well, I need to wait for the market to reach that trend line for an entry, it never reaches it because it's off. So when you do this and you're like, well, let me actually use the wicks of the candles, so that way I can get the accurate measurement. And now you're using the wick. Now you got that connection. Does that make sense? That's why it's important that we pay attention to detail and do everything by the book. None of this crazy stuff where you have to have, cross the moving average. Then you have to have, the shark fin over the water and the mustard over the fucking mayonnaise and market maker. You don't have to have any of that. It's no smart money concepts. It's just using common sense, right? That's all you're doing. You're using the wicks of the candles because that is where price has been. When it comes to my structure, that could be different. I mean, it's probably the same way everybody else draws structure. You know what I mean? Nothing different. There is no guru way of marking structure. I'm just identifying highs and lows. Literally highs and lows. Can I identify the body of these candles? Absolutely. Can I identify the bodies to the wicks of the candles? Absolutely. Can I just identify the height of the wick? Absolutely. To me, that's the structure point is pretty situational. I want to see if the market is even going to reach that point. Sometimes my zones do look this big because that's what the zone is. And then I'll start to cheat because I know that I'm such in a huge price zone that any point the market can respect within this point. So let's say the market comes back up and is in here and I start to see this. It's stopping there. Then I'll just cheat because I know where the market is finally looking for respect. And then I'll go like that. So I really don't have a specific way of how I'm marking up, or I don't base my my structure on the candles at all, like on the wicks or the bodies of it. I'm literally just identifying the highs and lows. You know what I mean? Because there are times where, like right here, remove all drawings. This would be the entire zone. But you don't want your zone that big. So for me, I'm not going to be like, well, I'm going to cut the bottom here off and have a little space in between. No, I'm just going to be like, I know this is my entire zone. But for right now, I'm going to mark this as the initial low point. Because price has been there before, it could definitely get there again. And if you want, you can start adding minor structure points, these little finer lines. Be like, well, I know I'm keep that in mind because that's a part of the zone and that could be an entry point as well. So it really depends on you. I mean, that's the zone aspect that's very, I would say, dictated on the individual. It really is what you see and how you like to enter your markets as well. But for me, that's the easy way, quick version of how I mark up my zones. I'm not doing it based on wicks or the body of a candle. I'm literally just doing it off the peaks and the valleys, the highs and the lows. If it met that point before, it can meet that point again. I'm going to mark it up and identify it. But yeah, beautiful question too, by the way. But yeah, questions, comments, anything else you guys may have, feel free to let me know. But yeah, DXY, the dollar itself is definitely still looking very, very bearish. Let me see this. Draw this back. This is why I hate deleting my original analysis, because I don't know if this was the original. This looks like the way I had it previously, but so I know we had 6 touches. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. Yeah, that's the trend line that I have. So what I would like to see is, and it might happen because it does seem as if the dollar is losing its initial value. This does seem as if it wants to continue to be bearish. So I'm going to draw this to that extreme low. I know this is my entire zone, at least from this low point. So actually, I'll just leave it like that so that way you guys get the education, I guess. But with the DXY looking pretty bearish, I would expect a lot of our markets like Euro USD to possibly continue to, or start possibly buying. I know we had Aussie news last night, so the Aussie dollar may continue to be buying as well. So yeah, with the DXY looking very bearish, I may go ahead and start looking at continued buys on gold, sells on USD CAD, sells on USD CHF, buys on EU and AU and stuff like that. Speaking of AU, let's take a look at AUD USD. So the reason why we're taking a quick look at this is because now that we have a pretty significant or pretty strong idea of what the dollar is going to be doing, we can now get an idea that AUD USD will continue to look for strong buys. So all I'm doing here is draw my trend line, making sure this is as accurate as possible. There we go. I will actually just cheat a tiny bit and connect that together. Yeah, okay. Let me just do this on the 1 hour, just see if I can get a little bit more cleaner. There we go. That's beautiful. That's perfect. So it doesn't. I mean, if you have to draw your trend lines on the 1 hour and you've seen it on the 4 hour, it's still accurate. It's still the same exact trend line. So all I wanted to do is make sure that I'm getting the actual lows, the wicks, if you will, the candles to be touched on those trend lines to actually confirm it, to make sure it's a valid trend line, because we have our base, we have our secondary, we have our trigger right? We have a third touch of that trend line, validating and ensuring that if this trend line is met in the future, if it's respected in the future, there is a entry off of it. So why is that important? Because what we're coming back into is our retest point. The market is broken above this area. If we go to a higher time frame, you can see it a lot easier, right? So we have a current break above structure. So with that break above structure, that's telling me that buyers are still very much within this market. And this being the breakout candle right here, right? The most important thing. This is the breakout candlestick, a bullish engulfing candle. If that's showing me that buyers are still within the market, I don't need to do anything else. I don't have to start looking at my, smart money concept. I don't gotta go to my order block and no, you obviously know where the market's going to be coming back into. It's going to retest this zone. It's going to come right back to this point, this price point, and say, well, I made a move from here before. I'm probably going to want to make a move from here again. So we scaled down to a smaller time frame, such as the 2 hour or 1 hour, to get further detail. We're marking up. We're trying to make sure that our buy idea is, in fact, a strong buy idea. If it gets too noisy in the background, my bad. I live in the middle of New York City, the heart of the city, so everything gets noisy, and I apologize in advance. But what I can see is that fib, that swing low to swing high, right? That's super important. We go from that low to this high. You can see that this market is, or not our market, our analysis is leading into that 61.8 fib ratio, right? Now, I don't get specifics on fib ratios. Like I don't look at one fib ratio better than the other. I'm only trading the 618 and nothing else. No, when you're looking at this and you have confluence in a specific area. So if we can see that we mark this up as our level of what used to be resistance is now going to be an idea of newfound support and possibly an entry point, the first thing I want to see is if in fact I could find confluence around that area, confluence being more probabilities to stack into my favor, being that if this market can then go here, respect the trend line, the level of structure, and also our fib, we're looking at a pretty strong idea for a buy from that area. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say that we will be looking for, this is a buy zone rather. So there we go. So strong buy zone. So, did not mean to move my fibs. So what we can do is allow this market to reach this area and then give us a strong idea. Whichever level you have rejection and structure candles. Yeah, like just your confluence, right? Just your pure confluence. Whenever you have confluence, you have a potential trade. It doesn't matter what it is. If you have a breakout pattern, if you have a fib, if you have confluence at a level of structure, or your entry point rather, you're then going to look for, obviously, your entry. You're going to be identifying a next move from that area to continue forward. So right now, AUD USD looking like a strong buy from this area. So in case anybody needs that analysis, there it is. But yeah, questions, comments. We got a bunch of people on, but no questions. Everybody here knows how to trade. Nobody has a question. You're not struggling with anything. You know how to use fibs. Your structure's on point. Like, this is your time. I'm literally giving you all of my time. Use it wisely. Because maybe one day I'll stop doing YouTubes and everybody's asked out. No, I'm kidding. I actually like doing these. I like doing, like teaching. I like doing lives. I like educating. And this also, I promise, this helps me more than it helps you guys, because when I have people watching, when I have people actually like looking at what I'm doing, it makes me, I know I have eyes on me, so I try to be as perfect as possible, so that way the information I'm giving is obviously the most top tier and accurate, and I'm not just feeding you guys like just nonsense. But yeah, AU looking like strong buys from there. Let me go ahead and take a look at EU. That's kind of choppy too, but I mean, not too much on this on a technical standpoint, at least on this time frame. I know on the higher time frame, like 4 hour daily, we're pretty bullish on that. But on a smaller time frame, we're not really looking at much. It's pretty choppy. The only thing I would think is I don't believe that trend line is even going to touch the current price. No, it's not. So I'll let that actually just chill for a little bit. But we kind of are within this nice little range. So I'm going to cheat with my structure. I'm going to do this really fast. I'm just cheating because we know where the market obviously respected down here. So I'm not going to have my zone look like this and then all the candles be blue. You know what I mean? You are doing a great job. We mark charts the same. Yeah, I mean, this is the thing though. This is what I've been doing since I first learned how to trade. Like there's really nothing different whatsoever. The only difference is my psychology and confidence from that time to now is obviously so much better, because I know that if you keep it simple, the profits will come. There's really not that you don't have to complicate any of your trading. If you make it as easy as you want and can, profits will be there. Honestly, have no clue how fibs work, mainly because I have heard mixed opinions about whether I should use it or not. If you could go over it in your own opinion on whether it is effective or not. If you see me using it, then it's effective. But I'll go over it when there's an opportunity for us to look at, a fib ratio. So I got you. How about gold, bro? I already spoke on gold. I made profit from learning from you, my mans. That would be great. What would be great for the fib thing? Yeah. So I mean, you see me using fibs, so that should answer your question of do they work and should you use them? They're obviously there for a reason. I'm not going to use anything that doesn't work. And yeah, I mean, fibs. This is what a fib is. A Fibonacci retracement tool is finding a secret or invisible price pocket in the market that is valid. So let's say it reaches the 50, and then you have structure. That's all you need to know. That's Confluence. This is what I mean about do not overcomplicate your trading. I don't care who the guy Fibonacci was and the Fibonacci spiral and how it's correlated with, you can find the Fibonacci spiral in our hemoglobin, our blood. You can find the Fibonacci spiral if you crack open a walnut. There's a Fibonacci day. I don't care about any of that, right? Because I think what a lot of people get so mixed up on is they think they have to know everything, where they have to sound like a professor when they come to trading. They have to know the origins and the date and who created. No, you don't have to. Keep it simple. A fib is just an extra level of support and resistance that should be matched and lined up with what? Support and resistance. So again, like what trade? GU. So a fib. It's at the 50% retrace ratio. It's a hit. It's a little invisible price point. We don't know if the price that this market right now is respecting is valid, but it becomes a lot more valid in that sense when you have your 50% retrace ratio being met and also structure, right? Keep it simple. You have structure. The structure is validated by the fib in a sense, right? Because you're like, I don't know if this structure is actually going to be a good level of price for us to identify for an entry. When you have a fib ratio mixed in with your structure point, that's an extra level of structure price. So in this case, this is an extra level of resistance, or this is resistance. That 50% is adding another level of resistance. It's finding that sweet fine line of invisible price where it's going to show you whether it's a valid level or not. That's all it is. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care about any of the confusion, because we can make trading hard. Like this, I know I do this with you guys all the time, but we can make trading hard. We can have crazy shit like this on our chart. Then we can go to our GAN, which I have no idea how to use that. You have your fib spirals. You could use all these funky tools, fib wedges, you know what I mean? And have no idea what's going on. Or you can say, well, I don't care about any of that. I want to know how to make money, how to become profitable. I know that at specific levels of price, I should be looking at entries. And with Confluence, things such as my fib, things such as my trend line, those should be used as well as Confluence. All a fib is going to give you is an extra layer of support and resistance. And it's finding that little secret price within the market to really pinpoint an accurate entry. If you have structure and a fib there, it makes it that much more accurate, if that makes sense. I'm just trying to give you the Cliff Notes version. So based on the fib you have set up on GU, would that be extra Confluence? Yeah, bro, that's what I'm saying. That's exact. I've been saying, I said that like 10 times. It's extra Confluence. It's giving you an extra level of resistance. It's like a martial artist. You have a piece of wood, right? They could break through that piece of wood easily. That's just the structure without the fib. Now, when you add the fib, That's like having a piece of wood and a fucking cinder block right on top of that piece of wood. And you're like, oh, well, I can't break through that now. I'm going to break my damn hand. That's what you're looking at. It's just an extra layer of support and or resistance. Keep it that simple. When you have that mixed together, now there is no fib on this, but, or I'm sorry, not no fib. There's no trend line on this, like no third touch, but I'm just going to cheat for educational purposes. And let's say you do have a trend line in the mix there. Obviously, this is not accurate, so nobody take this into consideration. But let's say you do have a trend line. You do have your structure. You do have your fib. Now you have 3 levels of structure, 3 levels of confirmation. You know what I mean? That's what you're looking for. You're making it very easy. You don't have to care about who the guy, I forgot what his first name is, Fibonacci is, and how he created and solved. None of that matters. What matters is finding this all together, your confluence. So your Fibonacci retracement tool is just going to help you find, I would say, a hidden level of structure in your level of structure, if you will. That's like the best way I can put it. I'll get you a more accurate, detailed description of fibs, but the way I use it is just for confluence. Since it's respecting that, let me see real quick. So based on the fib hitting, it might continue. Oh, you did ask another question. So based on the fib you have set up on GU, would that be extra confluence? It is hinting that it might continue to go down to the 0 point. You tell me. Common sense. You tell me. We were looking at, let's go to the Discord, right? Where did I send this? Look, I was sending this all day for you guys yesterday. GU, from this morning session, this is yesterday. Gbpjpy USD is reaching our sell zone. No trade has been placed, and I showed that. Now, obviously, it doesn't look that great on your end, I'm sure. So I'll do it like that. So aggressive sells. Look at what I'm looking at. Level of structure. I'm looking at that 38.2 fib ratio, right? So if I'm doing this, if I can see that, and then I give you even further analysis, we're getting further rejection. So yes, if I'm looking at a seller's market and I draw a bearish fib and I'm at a level of structure, then yes, and I have my fib there, I would assume that might push down a little bit lower. Nothing different. Keep it simple. If I go, I mean, we did get into some sells on GU already. I did actually send that out. I do send my signal, or my students, a bunch of signals. So I did tell them to send for GU sells. We're doing great. Entry was beautiful, but our what you call it, break even must have been hit if anybody did move to break even. If not, they're still in small profits. Let me see. Same here on my side. Perfect. I think his name is Fibonacci. Yeah, his name is Fibonacci. I forgot his first name. But yeah, his name is actually Fibonacci. When do you close and accept it as a loss? I have a hard time closing trades, as sometimes it just pulls back, and a lot of them. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. It just pulls back a lot, then go back the right way. How do I accept the loss? By letting it hit my stop loss. Like, I'm not. Like, okay, perfect example. Gbpjpy. Right, so let's do this. If you guys would like, for anybody who did place trades or did take the GJ trade from the Discord yesterday, feel free to take profits on that if you would like, because it does seem as if we're going to get, just like how somebody said, a correction. I don't want anybody getting faked out or, worried that it's reversing. I think this is just a correction. But if anybody did take that trade on GJ yesterday, go ahead, close out if you would like. Now, if anybody's wondering, I sent this trade out for everyone to take. This was a trade. This was a signal sent out in our Discord. So if you're not a part of our Discord, feel free to join. It is absolutely free for you guys. I'm just trying to give you guys free knowledge, free game, and as much profits as possible, just to make sure that everybody's on the right track. So if you're not a part of the Discord, the link is in the description below. And I send out my analysis updates on lives, and obviously, as you see here, trade signals to make sure that the communities continue to grow and grow in profits as well. So appreciate you guys. Real quick. If you are getting value, if you did make money off this trade, if you're joining these sessions and learning, go ahead, please smash that like button. It's really important. We're growing this community in such a great manner, so I do want to extend my gratitude to you guys as well. But yeah, if you guys can, it'll help me big time. I want to see how many people I could reach and impact in a positive manner. I am really teaching. I'm really giving you guys real information and helping you guys. So help me help you. The more people we get on, the more value I give, the more education I'll drop, the longer I'll stay on to these sessions. Might even, if we start getting like hundreds of people on here, I think on Fridays, instead of jumping on a YouTube live, I'd send a Zoom link out and we could trade binary options. Like, I got a lot of ideas to give back to the community, not just for my students, but for you guys as well. So that way everybody wins. So if you guys could help me, that would be great. Please like the video. I appreciate that. So when do you close out and accept it as a loss? And I've heard I have a hard time closing trades. All right, so I'm always going to allow my trade to develop. I'm not just going to end in drawdown and get scared. And GJ is a perfect example of that. Now, on the auto trader yesterday, I did go ahead and close these trades out early because it's not my money that I'm risking. It's my students' money as well. So we were able to at least close this alongside other trades as an accumulative small profits, if you will. So we should have held this, but I don't want to risk my students' money in that manner. You know what I mean? But for myself as an individual, if I'm not trading my students' accounts, it's my trade, not on the auto trader, and I'm just looking at this and I'm, I place a trade, the first thing I'm going to do is my stop loss isn't going to be that close. I see that mistake a lot. Everybody has a stop loss where it's like 10, 15 pips and does not understand the volatility of said market, because GJ is extremely volatile. It has the yen and the pound, which are both extremely volatile pairs. I'm not going to also have a stop loss all the way up there. That's ridiculous. But the one thing I am going to have is patience. I'm going to allow the market, if I place a sell, if I place a trade, that means I have to trust my analysis enough for me to stay patient for it to actually give me money. I'm not just going to say, oh shit, look at this. Now it's reversing. And you're like, it's getting close to my stop loss. No, right? You want to say, well, I trust my analysis for a reason. Their overall standpoint of this was already looking bearish. So I'm already zoned in for that. I'm not going to close my trade out early because I get scared of a trade. Take losses. We're biggest risk in life is not taking one, right? Take a little bit of a risk and allow your trade to truly develop. Patience. And you can see here we ended up in a little bit of drawdown, but overall, what's happening? Just like you said, you close out and then it goes right back into profits in that direction. Patience. That's the answer to your question, right? One, don't have a stop loss that's 5 pips away from your entry. 2, patience. Always be patient. The market is not, look at the candlesticks that we're looking on, the time frame rather. Each one of these candlesticks represents 1 hour of movement. And there's some times where candles don't even move. Look at that candle. Look at that candle. Look at these over here. Did those really give you strong moves? No. That means for each hour, each one of these hour candlesticks, it has just stood there and done nothing. But if you let the market develop and you trust your analysis, it will go in your direction. You just need to stay patient. That's the biggest thing. Yeah, and don't over leverage, right? Because when you're trading and you're placing these giant lot sizes, you're not going to want to place, and you end up in drawdown with these giant lot sizes. That fucks with your psychology as well, right? That messes with you in such a way because if you use a large lot size, you see all that drawdown, you're like, oh my God, you're not going to be able to take it. So yeah, risk management as well. Can I take a look at US30? What is your question on US30? What is your question with US30? That doesn't look good at all. I wouldn't even be looking at this. This is way too choppy. I would stay away from this, to be completely honest. You have a minor level of structure there. That's really about it. This is very bearish. I know that. But as of the right now, there's nothing. But what is your question with US30? Do you have analysis? Are you in a trade? That's all you're looking at with US30. Would I buy from those lows? Absolutely not. You don't buy in a seller's market. The only thing I would do, let that reach there, then look for a sell. That's really about it. If it breaks below, then you know it's going to continue to push down lower. I'll even do that. That's literally it with US30. There's not much else you would really want to do with this, to be completely honest. And yeah, that's really it. Let me get rid of this before everybody starts thinking I'm buying that. Absolutely not. But yeah, that's my idea with US30. So real quick, if you're going to ask me about chart, give me a question with it too. Because I don't know, you guys be like, can you look at US30? I'll look at it, and then you guys say nothing. I have no idea if it helps. I got to know. I got to make sure you guys are good. But yeah, that's my idea with US30. You're in a ranging market. There's nothing there. Not a damn thing. Let me see something real quick. Who's messaging me right now? No, okay, never mind. I thought it was one of the students real quick hit me up. I always got to remind them I'm on live. All right, so yeah, let's see. Let's see what gold's up to. I know we're in that buy. Okay, still chilling there. See, this is a good example as well, right? When people start, oh, damn, we're getting loud outside. It's getting loud outside. I got to close my office window here in a second. Oh, damn, I think I left the balcony open too. It's going to be loud this morning. All right, so if anybody's still wondering about gold, yes, we are currently in buys on gold. Yes, we are in drawdown, but am I going to care? No. You know what I mean? I'm going to accept this if it hits my stop loss, but I'm also accepting the fact that I have analysis, and I believe in my analysis for this enough to continue to be bullish for us. So if anybody didn't place the buys on gold, it's right at our entry point. Feel free to go ahead and place that buy. These are the credentials. I'll leave that up for you guys real quick. Yep. No worries, no worries. I appreciate you guys. So let me go ahead and see if there's anything else we could look at real quick. And if you guys hear too much noise in the background, I'll close my office window real fast. It's just like living in New York City, no matter where you live, especially in the city, it's mad loud for no reason. Now I'm just going to skim through charts like very fast to see if there's any other opportunities. Some of these markets have really been just super stuck, like super rangy. There we go. AUD. I knew there was something that I had marked up that I wanted to take a look at. So there was more analysis on this, but I broke it down to just a very simple concept. Can somebody tell me what this is? This is a break and retest. I know the delay is probably like 20 seconds, so I'm not going to wait that long for you guys, but I'll answer the question for you. This is a simple break and retest of structure. And we're very much in a bullish market on the Aussie pairs, right? And we did break above, since we broke above that structure, we are now creating higher highs, higher lows. We can currently see with the current candle or where we are in market price that this is going to continue to, or hopefully continue to be bullish. We can see some respect coming from that area. I'm going to put the structure like that. So what I might actually do is look for some potential buys here on AUD JPY sometime soon. So all I'm doing is adding Confluence to my markup. As you can see here, my trend line, my base, my secondary, my trigger, my fourth touch, if you will. And in this case, we can in fact use a fib, swing low, swing high, and we're right now. We could cheat a little bit. We're right at that 786. Do you think GJ has retraced enough? You tell me. I can't ever tell you that. You know what I mean? The market will do whatever it wants, but you have to be able to mark up your chart to identify whether or not it's retraced enough. But you can tell me. You know what I mean? But what I see right now is potential buys here on AUD JPY. I might, so let's do this real quick. Potential buy zone. Or actually not even a potential. Buy kill zone. So I might actually look for entries on this if the market continues to respect this. Sir, how to open account here to trade? I don't know what you mean by that. How do you open a trading account, like a Forex account with a broker? Is that what you mean? I just want to make sure I'm answering answering your question correctly. If you're looking for a broker, stuff like that, there's a broker that I personally am invested into as well, like me and a friend or two friends rather. In the description, or the link is in the description below if you guys would like to use that. If the same day withdrawals, obviously through Bitcoin, everything through cryptocurrency. I mean, I'm pretty sure like all brokers are at that point. But yeah, same day withdrawals, very little to no, you get no commission or no spreads. You know what I mean? If you would like, you got two options, 0 spread and no commission, or raw spread rather. So if you want, if that's what you're asking, yeah, definitely you could use that broker, but I'm unsure of the question from there. But if you need help opening up a broker and getting a trade account, just let me know and I'll try to help you out to the best of my abilities. But yeah, right now I'm actually going to be looking at potential buys here on AUD JPY. Not right now. I'm not going to place any entries on it just yet, but we're getting a lot of confluence at this area. Again, we have Aussie news came out pretty strong for the Aussie, right? It came out positive for it, which gave us this initial spike to the upside. Since we did in fact break above that structure and that level of resistance, it is now going to be used as a newfound level of support. So with that support being respected, also the trend line being respected, and also that fib ratio being respected, those 3 points. Remember what I said? Doesn't matter about, nickname Fibonacci over there. All that matters about where to use those fibs at. The fib ratio here, the 786, is showing us a secret price point, and it's not a secret because we can obviously see it's a price point. You know what I mean? It's giving us an actual level of structure, but is giving us that extra confirmation. Like, yo, I don't think a lot of people can see this, but we can because we're adding our confluences together. We got the fib, trend line, structure. Now we also are looking at not just this time frame, but the higher time frames as well, such as the 2 hour and 4 hour. Where is it? There it is. On this time frame, being the 1 hour at least, we're getting a rejective candle. Wicks equal rejection, right? So let's do this. I'll actually write that down. Wicks equal rejection. So me seeing that wicks are equaling rejection, wicks equaling rejection at a level of structure, at a trend line. Let me make this trend line a little bit more perfect. I see that I'm off by a tad bit. There we go. So if I can see that we're getting some form of rejection at a level of structure, with confluence being the respect of the trend line and the 786 fib ratio, I would like to see how it develops around this range, because currently this candle doesn't look that bullish, right? But we have about almost like 20 minutes left for this candle to close, 22 to be exact. So we would want to let this candle close, see how others develop around this area. I think even the 4 hour is going to close here in a bit. Yeah. So even this 4 hour candle closing at that point, looking with wicks to the downside, could give us an early indication that this buy zone is accurate enough for us to place an entry. So I'm going to leave this marked up the way that it is. So that way, if there is an entry point, we'll go ahead and place that. It depends. I don't know. I want to see if there's more trade setups, because I want to try to give you guys at least one signal a day in the Discord. And obviously I got to make sure students are getting multiple. So I don't want to share. If they get one, I don't know if I'll be able to share it, because I want to make sure obviously they get the sauce. But if we get like multiple trade setups, like 3 or 4, I'll make sure that I share one of them with you guys, and this may actually be one of those trade setups for you all. But let me go back to the chat, see if there's anything that you need from me. Okay, perfect. But yeah, T Latan, I don't know how to say that. I'm just gonna call you T. But yeah, hopefully I answered your question with that. And let me go take a look at GJ. Somebody asked, do I think GJ retraced enough? If I was to tell you yes, I'd be wrong. If I was to tell you no, I'd be wrong. There's no way I could simply say, oh yeah, it's retraced enough, go ahead, sell, right? If anybody did that, they're lying, because you have to mark it up and find an actual idea if it has or not. I don't have that marked up in this case, because we're already currently in a sell. That's another reason why I'm not really looking at this as like anymore, to be honest, because we've already placed our trade. Our trade, and again, if you guys were not able to place it, this trade, I sent this out as a signal in the Discord for you guys yesterday. Yesterday at 7:41, I'm working all day for you guys. Sell Gbpjpy, JPY, everyone for the Discord. And as you see here, beautiful trade set up for you guys. So if you guys did not get that trade, if you were not able to place it and get that signal, please go ahead, go into the description below, grab the link, join our Discord, stay up to date with everything. But do I think it is retraced enough? I mean, no. It's I think it's just going to continue to like be bearish, to be honest. I know I was telling people we might take profits on this. I just wanted to see how this is. Nah, ain't no take profits. That's very much still going to sell. Where is it going to sell from next? You tell me. Could it be here? Look left to get right, guys. You can answer your own questions if you just try. Right? If you try to answer your own question, I guarantee you get the answer much quicker. Let's just be real. You could have seen that a mile away. You know what I mean? Trading is not hard. It's not difficult. If you actually use, and this is not to sound disrespectful or by no means, this is just me being as real as fucking possible. You have to use common sense when you are trading. You have to actually look at what the market is doing. If you're just like, well, is it retraced enough? Well, you look, check. Has it? Do you have a fib there? Do you have a trend line there? Are there things that could tell you whether or not it's retraced enough? You can't just look at it. You can't just be like, look at it with nothing and be like, has that retraced enough? You literally have tools that will tell you that. This is called a Fibonacci retracement tool. You can use that to identify whether or not it's retraced enough with Confluence. It's not hard. Use common sense and you will make profits. I promise you, right? Could you go back to gold, bro? Almost wrote bro. Still there, bro. There's nothing different. Yes, we are in drawdown. That is okay. Nothing wrong with a little bit of drawdown. Even when I put this out, I said that our entry is a little bit late. I would have liked to get in where it was down here at our actual markup. But there's gold. You explained pretty well. Yep, no problem. It's common sense, man. It's really just common sense. You're not trying to overcomplicate any of your trading. Because once you start overcomplicating your trading, that's when your psychology goes out the window. That's when you miss trades because you're too scared and fearful to get in because you believe or you're not confident enough in your own trade. Those are real things, right? Buy. Oh, I'll delete that now. Good thing we didn't buy that. This is another little choppy market, except for that head and shoulders pattern, actually. But yeah, it's all common sense. Once you start looking at it as this market isn't hard, this is something I see happen every day. You're having your same discipline, right? Your same trade discipline. I'm using the same idea with my trend line, my fib, my structure. I'm not trying to overcomplicate anything that I'm doing with any of my trading. But yeah, hopefully that kind of makes sense. Just want to see stop loss, take profit. Yep, no problem. Let's see. Yeah, with US30 pushing down, gold might actually start giving us some life to the upside. So let's see. But yeah, any other questions? Beautiful questions today too, by the way. Let me take a quick look back on AJ really fast. So obviously there's no entries on this as of yet. I do think that if we start or we continue to see some respect around this range, we might get a bullish idea. Again, because the Aussie dollar had news yesterday, came out very strong. In positive for the Aussie. I do believe today's a bank holiday for them as well. Yep, bank holiday all day. So the volatility might not be the best, but on a technical standpoint, I might go ahead and look for some entries here on AUD JPY to the upside very soon. If I do, again, I will make sure that I send some signals or a signal or two, depending on how many setups we find for legacy students. But if we can share some trades, this might be one of them. You know what I mean? So again, if this is a buy, I'll put this out for you guys. And just so that way you guys can see our trade. Oh, I forgot I deleted it. But we did place a trade on GJ just roughly around that area. And you can see that we're currently in profits. And our take profit is all the way down here. So that's about 300 pips exact. So not a bad risk to reward, especially since our stop loss should be at break even. So there's really no loss whatsoever that can happen on this, even if the world exploded. And everybody would still at least go out with their GJ trade intact. But terrible analogy, but it just means that our trade's extra safe. But yeah, I mean, you tell me if you think GJ is done correcting yet. You just have to mark it up, identify, look at it. Once you actually look at your chart, once you're really identifying and saying, well, you know what? Is it still correcting? Is it still pushing down? Like, these things must be looked at. So look at that. We can add that trend line there now too. Now this isn't validated, but for at least right now, for our current analysis, let's say the 38.2 is respected, that structure is respected, and then you have the trend line then respected. See what I mean? You add these confluences together. You make sure you're actually taking a look at the chart. Because if you're looking at it like this, you're like, is that done correcting? And nothing's marked up. You have nothing on your chart and you're still confused. There's no confusion if you actually do the work. It's not to sound rude. It's just to really get that through your heads. If you put in the work, if you actually mark up your charts, if you know what you're looking for, you then could answer your own questions. Because usually this is what I end up doing. People ask me questions, right? They'll ask me, what was a question that I got the other day? Oh, somebody asked me, Jay, what's a VPS? And I literally just said, copy and paste your question and Google it. Not to be rude. It's just so that way they could know that they can answer their own question. Like, yeah, I could have did that. You know what I mean? If you're asking, well, is this done with the retracement? Check. Identify. Right? Mark it up. You can answer your own question. You have to answer your own question when you're trading. You have to, because you're the one that's placing the trade. It's your money. You have to be able to feel confident with that. You know what I mean? Because what if I said, oh yeah, this is definitely done correcting. Let's go ahead and sell. And then this shit goes whoop and starts buying. And I'm absolutely wrong, right? If you did your due diligence, your own work, you'd be able to say, yo, Jay's wrong on that. That's not done correcting. That's probably going to continue to buy. Let me go ahead and trust my analysis. And then you end up being right? You want to make sure that you can see that. So do I think GJ's done correcting? I think GJ's a continued sell. I'll put it like that. Hopefully that kind of helps. But yeah, if anything, I will say this. If respected, we have a case for a sell re-entry. Because again, where the confluence comes from is a level of significant price and other forms of confluence. You can see the fibs, you can see the trend line. If that we get a third touch of that trend line, that would be great. That would be outstanding. Can we even do that? No, we cannot. What I was trying to do is see if I could connect it to this wick here and have a connect through, but we'll literally be slicing through candles and you can't do that. So we'll just add it there. So potential kill zone for sells if that's respected. Does that mean I'm entering right now? No, by no means. But yeah, hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes sense. But let me see. Let's see if there's one or two more that could potentially give us an idea. USD CAD just chilling. We do have that news for USD CAD, so there's probably not going to be any movement on that until then. So yeah, it looks like these indices are pushing down. Indices are selling. Especially if it breaks below here. NZD USD spiking down pretty heavy. Euro USD chilling. I'm just taking a quick look at seeing some of these US cross pairs. Yeah, it's still stuck and consolidated. So I might actually, depending on how GU is looking, there might be a trade setup with this as well. So there's a few things that we could actually look to trade during the rest of the week. I know it's only today's Wednesday, if I'm correct, right? Yeah, today's just Wednesday. So with it just being Wednesday, there's going to be some great opportunities, hopefully within the New York session now just opening. We have London layover. That volatility starts to kick in for us to actually start looking to play some good entries. But as of right now, I don't really see anything else. Seems as if the New Zealand dollar is losing a ton of strength, though, which is crazy. So I'm just skimming through the chart, see if there's anything else. Like even EuroCAD, super consolidated, super stuck. You don't want to really trade a market like that. I know that I'm looking at this as a pretty strong buy area, but even with that, I wouldn't necessarily look at this just yet. Actually, maybe. We're at the 50. I do like this structure, actually. So I'll keep this on the radar. Oh, it's already on the radar. Never mind. I'm already on it. So what I'll be doing is, so we do have some pretty good trade setups, honestly. So if you're not a part of the Discord, go into the description below, join the Discord. So that way, if I do see a signal, I'll go ahead and post that for you guys as well. I know right now, since we have like 4 or 5 trade setups, because I'm usually sending my students anywhere between like, how many did I'm probably sending like 5 to 7 a day if we can find them. You know what I mean? So since we do have a bunch of trade setups and I'm going to be sharing them with my students, I'll be able to share a trade or two with you guys. So make sure that you join the Discord so that way I can make sure that I send the signal out so you guys can profit, just like we did with yesterday's GJ. And then somebody said inverted head and shoulders pattern. I didn't see that at first. As soon as I jumped onto the Discord, I saw it. It literally just like piqued my eye. So I was going to add that as analysis in the future as well. But yeah, there is a weird looking inverted head and shoulders pattern on Euro CAD too. So there might be a nice trade setup here with this market. And if so, I'll definitely make sure that I share that with everybody as well. So since we have like, 4 or 5 trade setups for students, if we go ahead and place those trades, I'll share two with you, depending. I want to try to share at least 1 or 2 with you guys as much as I can, throughout the week or throughout the day rather. So that way you guys could catch a couple hundred pips on this end with us. But yeah, this might be a nice little trade setup. Let me get rid of this really quick because I am seeing. Let me see if I could draw it out with this with the channel tool. Probably not from there. Trying to extend this. I don't like the channel. Like I don't like this tool because sometimes it doesn't give you that accuracy you can when you just draw it out yourself. So just adding a little breakout pattern there. Let me actually do it like that. Yeah, I'll draw like this. So depending on what we get, we can actually get even that. Boop. Which will give us a strong indication for continued buys. Bro, I need to gain 10% by Friday. Hopefully I can, bro. I recovered 9% today. That's cool. If you can get, all you need is 1%. What is that? Ahmed Sahid? All right, yeah. If you got to get 10% by Friday, hopefully I can, bro. I recovered 9% today. Yeah. You don't need 10% by Friday then. You just need 1 more percent. Just take it easy. Don't over leverage. Don't lose a trade. You know what I mean? Use proper risk management. You're good. It's not hard. So, but yeah, looks like everybody's Gucci. And I do have to get our binary. I did finally get our binary options copy trader thing situated. So that way I can start trading binary accounts and everything. But I think I personally made a mistake because when I first started trading with binary, I like to use live money, even when I'm like terrible. I did that in the beginning when I traded Forex. And when I started trading binary by myself without students, I was just practicing. I was doing fucking terrible. And that reflected on my binary, percentage. It says 31%. I don't know how, but still very profitable binary. I've been practicing for about like 2 years now. And now I just kind of want to release the auto trader because I feel confident of obviously copying trades for profits. But I'm going to have to make a new account just because I don't want people getting scared seeing 31% from when I had first started trading. And I think when I mess around on demo still, that's weirdly reflected on my overall performance. And when I'm on demo, what I usually do is I'll practice like with this strategy. And I'll practice some things like new entries, new tactics, new entry points. And yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. And I'll be entering like 100 trades on one entry, on one trade, just for fun. I even do it live with students just for shits and giggles. But yeah, I can't be doing that because if I'm going to have to do this professionally, the percentage has to pick up. But at least we got it situated. I'll be able to start trading for binary, trading binary markets for students automatically. So that way they don't have to really do anything. They don't have to buy or sell. And I know the timing of when I trade binary is very different. People are probably at work or have other responsibilities. So I have that situated. Legacy students, if you would like to go ahead and get started with that, I'll make sure that I put all the information in the Discord for you guys. What I'll try to do is, again, we're having a ton of success with our live sessions. We have a bunch of people on right now. The more people we get on these calls, the more questions we have, the more this community grows. I'll go ahead and start sharing our binary sessions on Fridays with you guys as well. I've been thinking about doing that on with the community. Unfortunately, it won't be here on YouTube. It'll have to be through a Zoom link because the delay between me and you on YouTube is pretty heavy. So I think it might be a limited amount of people that will be able to do the binary session. So first come, first serve for everybody, I guess. But yeah, I'll be looking at something like that for you guys. I joined the Discord. Perfect. Justin Pinkston, are you still holding the gold buy? If it hasn't hit my stop loss, yes, I'm still. Why wouldn't I hold it? You guys got to understand, like, I even said in the beginning that my entry might be a little bit off at this point, right? But yeah, I'm still holding. Why wouldn't I buy it? Or why wouldn't I hold it? Patience, yo. Patience, everybody. Sometimes if you're in drawdown, if you have a huge ass lot size on this right now, you're probably scared. And that's why I always say use proper risk management. But yeah, I don't see why not to hold the buys. Stop getting scared, people. If it hits a stop loss, it hits a stop loss. That's trading. But I'm going to trust my analysis enough to be patient and let this actually fruition and develop into my favor. Stop getting scared. Patience, right? But yeah, what we'll do is, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to get that situated for the binary for my legacy students, so that way I can start trading their accounts. So we will conclude for today. I'll catch back on with you guys first thing tomorrow morning. Legacy students, I'll be on the charts as well, seeing if there's any trades that we can push out for today. I know that GJ worked out great. I know GU, if you put your stop losses at break even, might have your stops hit at break even. But we're kind of still floating around in profits if you did not. But it really depends on how this range is held. But yeah, great session today. Definitely appreciate you guys. I'm risking my house on that gold buy. You better be right. You better not be risking your house on a buy, bro. You can't. That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys should not be over leveraging. Because what happens if you go ahead and you lose your house? Now you're living under a bridge. You can't be mad at me. You got to use proper risk. You have to. If not, like this, you got to understand, this is a marathon, right? Not a fucking sprint. If you think this is a sprint, good luck. Good fucking luck. Because you are not going to last by no means. Everybody thinks the moment I started trading, I was rich and I was making money. It took me 3 years, 3 fucking years to actually make 6 figures. That's real talk. I've been doing this going on 8 years. That's just to give you context, right? It took me 2 to 3 years to really become profitable and make 6 figures. That took a while, right? And also because I was surviving off of my profit. So I couldn't go and risk the house on it and not go a week without taking withdrawal. Something, you know what I mean? I take something out. So it's very important you don't over leverage. Probably someone is. I wouldn't be surprised, bro. I would not be surprised. People be doing some weird stuff, man. I'll be telling people like, yo, just be careful. Don't over leverage. No, I'm over leveraging. But yeah, let me see if, but yeah, we'll conclude for today. We'll catch back on first thing tomorrow as well for legacy students. I'll be on the charts with you guys always, and really making sure that you guys are progressing and getting some signals. Again, if I do see another trade to send out in the Discord for everybody, I'll make sure that I do that as well. I do really think that AUD JPY is setting up nicely for that. So we'll look at that. I think AUD USD is setting up nicely for buys as well. So we'll kind of go over that. Euro CAD setting up for buys too. So there's a lot that we could look at. There's a lot of potential trade opportunities for us. So I'll make sure that I feed you guys some more profits for the day as well. But with that being said, we'll conclude for today. We'll catch back on first thing tomorrow morning. Legacy students, I'm going to be trading binary here in a second. If you guys want, because I don't, every time I jump onto a binary call, nobody be on that shit trying to trade. Let me know in the Discord if you guys want to jump on the live. If you guys would like to, by all means, I will. And then we'll go from there. But gambling at its finest. And anyways, brother, cheers for the live. Have a great day. You as well. I'm 1.5 years into Forex. That's awesome. You got a lot more time ahead of you. But we'll continue first thing tomorrow morning, and then we'll go from there. If there's any trades I can share, I'll share them. But everybody, have an amazing day. Have an amazing rest of your week. If there's anything that I can help you with, hit me up personally. I know I don't have my contact, so I'll just leave it here before we leave. JM Pips on everything. Facebook, Instagram, everything. So go ahead if you would like to contact me, send me a message, whatever, hit me up there. But I appreciate every last one of you guys. Again, if there's anything that you guys need, feel free to hit me up, and I definitely got you. But appreciate you guys. Thank you guys.